Chair, are you ready for me to begin the recording?
Yep.
Thank you, Leader. There we go, whenever you're ready.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Good afternoon then. Also, agenda item 1 is appointment of chairperson. I'll be chairing today's appointment. And can I welcome you all to this meeting of Cabinet on today, 17th of November 2021. Just a few housekeeping notes as we always go through. I'd like to welcome any members of the public and press to today's meeting. Can I kindly ask you to observe the meeting only, as you are not allowed to speak or to participate in the meeting. Could colleagues please ensure that the phones are switched to silent for the duration of the meeting? And in addition, can I refer you to the protocols for remote meetings which have been highlighted previously in Scrutiny Committee? Next item is on the agenda is a roll call and declarations.
Chair, sorry to bother you and interrupt you. Councillor Harvey has not had an invitation, so I don't know if Tammy can ask him in. Sorry to bother you.
Chloe, could I ask that you invite Mike Harvey to the meeting, please?
I'm on the case now, Tammy.
Thank you.
Okay, so can we go to roll call and declarations of interest, Tam, please?
Yes, certainly. Thank you, Leader. Okay, I'll start with yourself, Leader. You're present, obviously, but do you have any declarations of interest to declare?
I do. I've got the declaration on the urgent item, which is at the end of the meeting, as my ward is part of the report for the Members Community Fund. That's
great. Thank you, Leader. Same questions, please. Are you present? And do you have any declarations of interest to the following members? Deputy Leader, Councillor Leanne Jones.
Present. I have got declarations of interest. My ward is in there, and also Tom Mower RFC, who my son actually plays for, so it's part of his team.
Okay, which item is that, Deputy Leader, please?
It's the Members Fund.
Lovely, thank you very much. Same to Councillor Alan Lockyer.
Present, Tammy, and no declarations of interest. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Annette Wingrave.
Present, Tammy, no declarations of interest.
Thank you. Councillor Carol Clement Williams.
Present, no declarations of interest.
Thank you. Councillor Doreen Jones, please.
Present and no declarations of interest.
Great, thank you. Councillor Mike Harvey, please.
Present, no declarations of interest, Tammy.
Thank you. Councillor Peter Rees.
I'm present, Tammy, and I have no declaration of interest.
Thank you. Councillor Peter Richards.
Apologies from Councillor Richards, Tom.
Thank you very much, Leader. Okay, the following members are invited members from the Chair and Vice Chair of the last Scrutiny Committee. Councillor Sharon Freegard.
Present, no declarations of interest.
Thank you. And Councillor Saif Rahman.
Apologies from Councillor Rahman, Tam.
Thank you very much. I shall move on to officers. Okay, Karen Jones.
Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you. Andrew Jarrett.
Yeah, present, Tammy.
Thank you. Andrew Thomas.
Present, Tammy.
Hugh Jones.
Present, Tammy.
Nicola Pierce.
Present, Tammy.
Thank you. Karen Furlow.
Present, Tammy.
Thank you. Mike Roberts.
He's not present here. He was standing in for me in case the meeting continued beyond my next meeting. So I'm taking this meeting now. Thank you, Tammy.
Great. Thank you, Nicola. John Hodges.
Present, Tammy.
Thank you. Rhian Heaton.
Present.
Thank you. Sean Davis.
Present, Tammy.
Thank you. Lana Bainan.
Present, Tammy.
Thank you. Chloe Plowman.
Present, Tammy.
Thank you. And myself, Tammy Davis. Have I missed any officers or members off the roll call?
Councillor Clement Williams got a hand up, Tom.
Yeah,
Councillor Clare.
I noticed during the Cabinet Scrutiny meeting that Robin Turner had logged into the Cabinet meeting. I was just wondering if he was hoping to attend this and whether he actually knows this started. I just can see that he's not here.
He does have an invite, Councillor Clement Williams, so maybe something's happened and he's been called away, but he has had an invite.
Oh, yeah, okay. Thanks.
Okay, there we are. Chair, that's the roll call complete.
Okay, thanks, Tam. Agenda item 4 is chairperson's announcements. I have one urgent item for consideration today, but we'll deal with that under urgent items. Agenda item 5 is a forward work programme for 2021/2022. This item is for noting. Tam, anything to add?
Nothing to add, Chair, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So agenda item 6, calculation of the council tax rate. Sorry.
Sorry, I got my hand up.
Go on, sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, there was a couple of things brought up during the scrutiny committee meeting that I had also noted, and I've emailed Hugh, and I will go over the layout and everything, and because one of the questions I had was about the dates as well, so I will go over those with Hugh to see if we can tidy it up a bit. Thanks.
What are you talking about now?
The risk register.
I'm on agenda item 6.
Yeah, but you skipped the risk register, didn't you?
Sorry?
Did you skip the risk register?
No, it's agenda item 7.
Oh, sorry, my fault.
Okay, so agenda item 6, calculation of council tax base for 2022/2023. Pages 7 to 12 of the agenda pack is here for the decision. Hugh, anything like to add?
Just, Chair, this is a sort of technical report that requires us to set the council tax base as at the 31st of October. This will then feed into the Welsh Government's local government settlement calculations. But as I say, it's a technical, basically counting up of properties in the county borough at a particular date. So nothing further to add to that, Chair.
Okay, thanks very much. Any questions from colleagues? Don't see any indication. Okay, if I can refer you to recommendation on page 10 of the report, I move.
I second, Leader.
Thank you very much. I don't see any indications otherwise, so all happy with that. Okay, thank you very much. Agenda item 7 then is the risk register monitoring. Again, this report is on pages 13 to 50 of the agenda pack and is here for monitoring. Hugh, again, anything you want to add?
Just that I'll take on board the comments from the scrutiny committee, Chair, in terms of some of the layout and grammar and language used and tidied up for next time, and I'll take Councillor Clement Williams' offer to sit down and go through it as well, as she's just mentioned prior to the item.
Okay, thank you. Thanks very much. Any questions of colleagues? Don't see anything. Okay, so that's for monitoring, so we'll note that one. Agenda item 8 is Q1 key performance indicators, pages 51 to 84 in the pack. Karen or Sean, anything you want to add to this?
Nothing from me, Chair.
Nothing from me, Chair.
Thank you both. Any questions of colleagues? No. Oh, sorry, Carol.
Yes, Chair. Yeah, it was brought up earlier about the answering the telephone calls in Welsh and English. Just wondering, I don't need somebody to go through it here today and keep everyone going, but I'd like to know what we're doing around that to try and help the service out a bit. So if I could have a chat with maybe Doreen later and see if there's anything we can do to help. Thanks.
Doreen, do you want to come back on that?
Yeah, just quickly. I had a meeting yesterday with Karen and Rian and Sheena as well. The complaint was about 2 seconds. You know, people are complaining because it's taking longer than 5 seconds to answer. You know, and as Karen has already said, because they're all working from home, you know yourself, if you phone somebody up like I did with Direct Line, it takes ages to get through to someone who's living at home. But there has been a problem for quite a while now with the customer services. I think the trouble is most people expect it to be answered straight away. And with all the, you'll have seen as well that Sheena is busy trying to recruit more people as well into the service. So there is a problem at the moment with recruiting as well, but it is being dealt with.
Okay, thanks, Doreen. Karen, no, Chief Executive, do you want to come back on that one first before I fetch Karen back?
Yeah, I just want to add what Councillor Jones just said, Leader, because I think we recognise that we are working in quite a different way now. And as I said in the scrutiny committee, the systems that have served us well in previous years are no longer going to be good enough for the way we're working going forward into the future. So there are some things that Chris Owen is already doing, but I think that there is a more substantial piece of work that needs to be done, Councillor Clement-Williams, to look at what our strategy is going to be around customer contact as we go into the future. So we haven't started that work yet because people are pretty stretched at the moment just dealing with what's coming through the door today. But I think it is important to recognise that that is a part of our service delivery that we do need to give some attention to as we go forward over the next next 6 months, is what I said.
Okay, thanks, Karen. Carol?
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad Karen came back on that one, because it was IT and things that I was thinking about as well, if there was anything that we could be doing on it. If Chris is already on it, then I'm sure things will be fine. So, but I did want to ask the question because I used to work in a call centre, so it's something of interest to me. Thanks.
Thank you, Doreen.
Yeah, I mean, everybody is being directed to online, and that's fine. But my beef is the people who haven't got the wherewithal to do the online, or don't want to, or don't even understand it. And I know that's the way we're going, and I appreciate that's the modern way. But there are people who do need that face-to-face, or do need that contact, human contact. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you all. Don't see any other indications. No. Okay, again, no decision required on that item, just for colleagues to note. Agenda item 9 then is the Welsh Language Annual Report, pages 85 to 120 of the pack. Again, I'll go back to Karen and Ian. Anything you want to add on that?
Nothing from me, Chair.
No, me,
Okay.
Chair.
Thank you both. Any questions from colleagues? Peter?
Thank you, Chair. Just to re-emphasise the amount of work that's going in schools to promote the Welsh language, quite frankly, even in our English-speaking schools, the Neath is being promoted continually. And I just wanted to pay tribute to the schools for the amount of work that they are doing, because it's the younger generation will carry this forward. We got to have 1 million Welsh speakers by 2050 or whatever. So it's the present pupils in the schools which will carry this forward. And the work that's being done in the schools is very important, Chairman.
Agree, Peter. Thank you. Carol again.
Yeah, I obviously I'm a governor, and I know that the schools are doing a stoic job. I mean, they're doing far more than we ever had when we were in school. But I think the issue that was raised was more around the continuing to speak Welsh after school, and it is probably something we need maybe to look into a bit further. My niece and my nephew were brought up first language Welsh, and I don't hear them speak Welsh very often because nobody else is speaking Welsh, where they are in work and what have you. So I think that conversational Welsh, it is important to encourage people to use it, maybe having Welsh nights and things like that. But yes, Pete, I think the schools are doing a marvellous job. Thanks.
Thank you. Doreen?
Yeah, as someone who's English, I've tried several times with the Welsh language. I was waiting for Steve Hunt actually to mention the fact that when we both got elected, there were Welsh language lessons, and both Steve and myself signed up for those. And that was for members and for council staff at the time. I don't know whether there's any sort of scheme that could be used as a sort of conversation Welsh then. you know, not the. How can I put it then? The Welsh language is those Welsh speakers. It's easy to do all the, you know, fiddle about with the vowels and the consonants and everything. But for someone who isn't as cognizant of the Welsh language, then it's difficult. But if there was a conversation Welsh, perhaps, you know, if it's lunchtime or if it's like this, you know, just to get the flavour of it, it might be useful. Just to show that we are doing a little bit extra. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Doreen. Peter?
Yeah, just come back on Carol, what Carol said, and it's very important what she said, because the future of the Welsh language is going to be promoted at the hearth, in the home of current Welsh speakers. And what's happening, you know, and I know this from my own experience, where my grandmother could speak Welsh fluently, but never passed it on to my father, who never passed it on to me. So it's at the hearth that you know, if you're going to promote the language, that's where it's got to be there. So part of our strategy, I think, should be to try to promote it within the home and within Welsh speakers who are currently Welsh speakers, to ensure that they pass it on to their children. But, you know, that's why our schools are so important, so very important, to fill that gap. But what Carol was saying is absolutely right.
Thanks, Peter. Karen?
I just really want to come back on what Councillor Jones had said, really, Leader, because we do offer a range of different Welsh language courses across the council, from, you know, people who want to just start with conversational Welsh to courses that enable people who've got some fluency in the language to improve their Welsh language. And we've always struggled in terms of having people who are confident to write in Welsh, because what we've found over many years, often people are confident to speak Welsh, and particularly in a less formal setting, but we've really struggled to employ people who are confident to write in Welsh. And for some reason, the public seem to be a lot more critical of things like grammar, you know, and mutations and that type of thing, than they ever are of the standard of written English that we produce. And I know, you know, looking at Councillor Rees here now and others from an educational background, the number of times I've sat in committee, you know, where particular members might pick up on punctuation and spelling and grammar, because the standard, I think, over a long period of time has declined, hasn't it, around that. But people are particularly critical when they see Welsh not written in the way they expect them to see it, and it's caused us a lot of problems in terms of giving people confidence to use their Welsh. And this is a conversation we've had with Mary Hughes, the former Welsh Language Commissioner, and the current Welsh Language Commissioner as well, because I think what you want to do is encourage people to build up their confidence, and then over time you can help people, can't you, to improve if they're in roles where, you know, accuracy or higher standards of written Welsh, you know, is important. But just to finish on a positive note, really, because although there is still a lot to do around the Welsh language, over the course of the pandemic, we have improved the number of people within our communications team, for example, who are fluent Welsh speakers. And for the first time in a very long time, we've got people in that team who are now able to routinely put communications out in Welsh and English at more or less the same time. And that was something we were criticised for in the first wave of the pandemic. So it's not all negative news. There's lots of areas where there are positive things happening, but I don't underestimate as well, you know, as you've just said, you know, Welsh speakers need to encourage the use of Welsh, isn't it? Because otherwise, with the passage of time, it's going to decline. I've got people in my family who are using Welsh within school, but they don't use it when they're out of school. So I think that's a really important point. And we did say as well, you know, I know we've started to use a bit more Welsh in committee meetings since the Welsh Language Promotional Strategy was created. So it is good to hear members occasionally use words in Welsh, because with the passage of time, we all understand where they are and we become more confident to use those words ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks, Carl. Carol?
Diolch yn fawr, Karen. I think that you're bang on with the people picking you up on it, and that was the reason that held me back as a child, because we were learning words in Welsh. I was trying to use them in the playground to practice, and the Welsh speakers just took the mick you're always saying that or wrong or whatever. So we need to encourage Welsh speakers to be a little bit more lenient when they are listening to other people that are starting to try to learn Welsh, because it does put people off. And I think that that's a really, really important point. And you can, if you can let me know about the starter Welsh, I'd love to have a go. Thanks.
Okay, thanks all. Don't see any other indications, so no decision required on that item. It's just for colleagues to note. So I'll move on to agenda item 10, which is the local biodiversity plan. 121 to 184 within the pack. Lana, do you want to add anything?
Nothing further from me, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any questions off colleagues? Don't. Oh, Annette.
Sorry, I couldn't get my hand raised. Yeah, I'd just like to thank again Lana. She's probably fed up with me thanking. I'm always thanking her for the work she does on this. But I'd also like Nicola to take it back to the rest of the team. You know, they're very passionate in what they do, and sometimes they're up against people who don't particularly want them poking their noses in. But they've stood their ground, and in all fairness, biodiversity is romping away now, and everybody's becoming accustomed to it. Fabulous job. Fabulous team. Just send my thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Annette. And I'm sure we all endorse what Annette has just said about you and your team, Lana. So, yeah, if you can take it back on our behalf, please.
Will do. Thank
you,
Leader.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I refer you to page 126 and Appendix 2 of the first stage IIA. I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Are we all okay with that? Don't see any indications otherwise. Okay, that's okay then. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda, item 11, which is the urgent item, which is the Members Community Fund. I confirm the interest that I declared earlier in the meeting, so I will now vacate the meeting. I propose Councillor Peter Rees to take over to deal with this item and to close the meeting thereafter. So I leave the meeting now and hand over to Peter. Thank you all. Thank you.
Okay, Tom, are we all right to go now?
Yes, Chair, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Yep. The urgent item for today's meeting is the Members Community Fund on pages 1 to 58 of the supplementary papers circulated yesterday. There are 20 applications which we will consider en bloc at today's meeting.
Chair, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Councillor Leanne Jones has her hand up. I believe she's going to leave for this item.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know we were doing them on block. I thought we were doing them individually, so I'll leave as well now. So thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Leanne. Is Mr. Paul Hinder in the meeting? Oh, Carol, do you have your hand up?
Yes, Chair. It was just to say that it's wonderful to see so many of these coming through at the moment. It took nearly 2 years for some last time, so just interesting that they're coming through thick and fast. But I just think that it was a good idea that we had, and it's really nice to see things that are making a difference in the communities. That, you know, I read everyone with interest. When I first started reading, I said, oh, I want to know more, but then I realised it was at the end of the report. And I think there's really good initiatives in there, and I just think it's a real success. So thank you to all the officers that have helped to make all this work. You know, because it is a lot of work, and we really do appreciate that. Thanks.
Thank you, Carol. Okay, is Paul Hinder here?
He's not, Chair, no, but the Director, Andrew Thomas, is present if members have any queries on the reports.
Okay, Andrew, have you got anything to add?
No, no, Councillor Rees, and if you do have any detailed questions, I suggest we call Paul Hinder in.
Okay. Members, any questions from members? Okay, I refer members to the recommendations on pages 6 and 7, appendices A to T, and the integrated impact assessment, all contained within the report pack. I propose the, and if I could have a seconder, please. If members don't indicate to the contrary by raising your electronic hand, I will assume you're in support of the recommendations. Don't see anybody. Okay, that's it then. Thanks very much for that. And that ends the business for today's meeting. And can I thank you all for attending and for your contributions.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the afternoon.